everyone, welcome to another Employability Live. My name's Sam, I'm the founder of Turnheads, and I'm joined today again by Wendy from Skills Mansion. We join forces every Wednesday to discuss employability skills in the creative industry. By sharing our own lived experiences, insights and tips, we hope that we'll inspire and help emerging creatives trying to find their first jobs or clients in the industry. So today we're joined by Alice Letherbarrow to discuss how to transition between employment into freelance. Alice is a young mum who quit her full-time job as a middleweight graphic designer at a London agency for a freelance illustration career in Manchester. And she's now set up her own design studio called Sesame. So hi Alice, thanks for joining us.
Hi Sam, thanks for having me. First, I'll apologise about my voice. It is going, but it's here. So I started actually working with Sam in a design agency in London, and I was there for 4.5 years. And I'd say that's where I learned quadruple the amount I'd learned at uni. Gone from knowing what I thought I knew was a lot to really knowing. And then due to moving from London, I went freelance and continued to work for the same agency. And then since then worked for other agencies and direct with clients. And now I've set up my own design studio where I work directly with clients. And that's my story.
Amazing. So tell us a little bit more about that initial transition then, when you decided that you were going to kind of take the plunge, if you like, and do your own thing with freelance illustration. Obviously you had that little buffer with working with your previous employer on a freelance basis to kind of tide you over in the beginning, but then how did you kind of go about finding your first clients and getting those initial jobs?
So initially I was reaching out for clients and I was really trying to find, where will I get work? Do I use LinkedIn? Do I use Google? Do I just try my luck and cold email, or how do I do it? And if I'm honest, the best way was word of mouth and luck. So you've got friends that know friends that have companies. Let people know what you're doing. Use your social media. Announce it. Don't be shy to be like, oh, but we also offer this. If you don't think it's big, someone else might be looking for it. Met someone out for a drink and got speaking to them about what they were doing, what I was doing, and turned out they were looking for a food packaging designer, which is my speciality. And from there, they're now our biggest client for Sesame, which is really, really good. But it is luck, and it is be confident about what you do and tell people you do it and believe that you do it as well, I think.
Yeah. Fantastic. And how did you, because obviously at work, we kind of have that sort of onboarding process with clients and things like that. Did you kind of develop your own version of that in any way? Like how do you start building a project with a client?
So I'll always talk to them, if you can, face to face, and find out what it actually is they're after, and try and put yourself, if you can find out before you meet them a little bit, so you've got time to think, how would I do this project? If I sat down at my desk now, how would I get from nothing to, I don't know, say the final food packaging design? And speak to them about it so they know what you're doing. So you've got to start with concepts and ideas and all of this stuff. So discuss the project, find out with them what the project is, what they want in it as well. Because some people, they say, oh, go for what you want to do. And then you do it and they say, oh, but I didn't want illustration in it. So really like niggle in and find out what they're about and make sure you can do it. And then once you've got that project and you've secured it, then you can speak to them about their other stuff, and then they become a client, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Wendy, did you have any questions?
I was waiting for your cue.
Sorry, you in
that's all right. Yeah, no, I'm super impressed. I like these kind of stories where, someone has used the craft that they learned while they were at work and they've turned it around to actually, create something that they will do to help others. I think it's a great thing, and it's really much encouraged that, whatever you learn, if you can do it, for yourself to help others, I think there's so much empowerment around it. But for me, my big thing, and I always come from a business angle, and a lot of people trying to get into freelance and trying to work out how do they start their own thing. The one thing, especially around being a creative, how do you go about pricing what you do, and how do you sort of ensure that your business is still profitable, you're still covering all your costs? How do you get that right price to say this is probably the best price, or this is the value of my work that will ensure I do all the other necessaries, but it actually speaks, Sesame. This is what Sesame does. How do you get to that?
Yeah. So I think everyone should know that if you're worried about it and you feel like you've got imposter syndrome, and maybe you shouldn't be charging that, unless you're being stupid with what you're charging. Everyone, I think, gets imposter syndrome in terms of you add all the costs up and you're like, oh my God, but can they pay me that? Like, oh. Don't undercharge yourself, but also don't overcharge yourself. The best advice, and it's taken me probably since I went freelance to realize it, is work it out on time. Work out how long a project will take you and what your time is worth, and don't forget about bits of the pricing, a bit of the project, because every bit's as important as the other, because you're not going to get to the end if you've missed out a little bit in the middle to save money. So time would definitely be the most important thing. And then, can you do it all yourself, or do you need to outsource? Do you need to buy stock imagery? Do you need a freelancer to animate one of your images or anything like that? And then speak to the client as well, because I hate to admit it, but different clients do get charged different things depending on the budget, because not because they get different, you're being unfair, but because you end up doing more. So if you need 3 people on it where you would have just done it yourself, ultimately they're going to get something that's been created by 3 people from concept stage to then working together to getting to the final thing. If it's just you can't charge as much because you're doing it all alone and you've got no one to work with. And be open with the client as well, I think, to say, what if not everyone wants to tell you their budget, but what is your budget? And actually, we can do this where just one person works on it. This is from a studio point of view, obviously, where one person works on it, or we can do it where a team works on it. Because sometimes they want a team, sometimes they just want the job done, but they want it done well. But yeah, I think even I'm still sometimes like, well, this is what I would have charged by myself, but actually we're a studio now, so here we go. And have a pricing structure as well. I've written one out for almost every single project that could be thrown my way. Yeah. And then I can add bits in together. So I know, actually, this is how long it would take me. So if there's 2 designers on it, actually won't take as long, but it would be 2 designers. And kind of just build it all together. So you've got here, and then the total's this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for anyone worrying about how to do these things, I think, as you go along as well, like what you said, every project that you do, you'll learn from it and you kind of discover what else you need to add on. You may have not thought of an extra cost that, pops up, but for the next project, you can always build that in. But no, thank you very much for that.
Definitely learning on the way as well. You'll always have missed something.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've actually got a question from one of our viewers saying, if my full-time job isn't a creative one like illustration, can I look for any illustration experience such as volunteering? Would you recommend that?
I mean, is this someone that is an illustrator part-time? Because if you really are if you want the practice and the experience, then maybe volunteering is the way forward. If you can already do it, there's probably flexible jobs and things you can maybe do. Like for example, we hire freelance illustrators. So other freelance illustrators are going to be needed. So if you can work it around a job, then you can probably charge for it as well, I'd say.
Yeah, slowly build up your portfolio that way.
Yeah. But always, if there's an opportunity, through competitions, or even just sitting at home and practicing by yourself. Everything will build your skill. Keep at it.
And I think also it's nice to have a mix of, things that you can do. A lot of people think if you're stuck in one career, that's just the only path that you need to follow. If you have other things you can do, let's say you have a skill in illustration and you want to do that on the side, start off small, like do the charity work and then build up your portfolio, and who knows, you may open up a new door for yourself.
Massively. I run a design shop on the side, like with illustrated products and stuff. That's not my main job, but it's an output for all my creativity. And you can definitely don't take on too much that you can knacker yourself out. But if you have 2 different outputs, you can do 2 different outputs.
Just one more question. Are there any financial support or expenses support for art materials? What can I do? Oh no, sorry, that's the same question again. So yeah, just about finding help to buy art materials, basically. I know there's a site called Uni Days, which they put up loads of different vouchers and discount codes and things like that. So I definitely check that out. I don't know any specific kind of art material stuff, but maybe check with your local council as well, because there might be some grants and things for if you're kind of setting up your own startup or your own kind of freelance venture. It might be worth talking to them, because I know that a lot of councils do have their own kind of grant funding for their area.
Yeah, I agree with that. In terms of materials, I'm not sure direct, but in terms of training and helping you to get places, local governments and councils definitely.
Yeah.
There's also an app that you can download for your browser as well, your internet browser, called Honey, which I use, and it's really good. It's kind of like any website that you go on to buy anything, especially obviously e-commerce. When you get to the checkout, it automatically searches for any discounts that are available, any discount codes, and it'll automatically add that into the checkout for you. So it just allows you to kind of, get the best deal on whatever it is you're buying. So that might be worth trying out as well.
Also, I guess like marketplace and secondhand places, because not everyone will keep people accumulate so many art supplies that there becomes a point where I know I've seen loads where people have had to get rid of stuff. So
that's a good idea.
If you find it, but there will be some.
Yeah, like Facebook Marketplace and FreeCycle and that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, good shout. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Alice, for joining us on today's live. We hope it's been helpful and lots of little nuggets in there as usual. Do join us next week, Wednesday at 1:15, and we also jump onto Instagram at 1:30. If you have any questions, any topics you want us to cover, please do comment below, because we'll be happy to cover them for you. In the meantime, best of luck with your job search and your client search, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.